What's up, guys? Welcome back to Trooper Archives, guys.
Welcome back to Trooper Archives. I am Ace. I was once the master.
And I'm Gabe. Now I am the master. Welcome to our episode 4 breakdown of the Andor series.
We're on episode 4 now, but you guys should go check out episode 1 to 3 of our breakdown. So yeah, just click on the YouTube and search for Andor breakdowns. It'll all be there.
That is true. True. Anyways, so we watched Andor, guys, and it's been 3 days. It's been 3 days. So we think it's safe to post this video of the breakdown. So we'll get right into it. We're gonna talk about Luthen
for those who haven't seen.
Yeah. Spoilers alert. Luthen and Cassian. All right, so we're aboard Luthen Rail's ship, right? And Andor learns that they're headed to the planet Aldhani. All right, so Aldhani is, I don't know, has it been mentioned before, do you think? Or
I don't know, it's the first time I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard of it anywhere.
Yeah, so basically what Luthen is doing to Cassian is he's trying to recruit him to join him or his cause. And we were right. He wasn't really after the NS9 Starpath unit. He was actually after Cassian. And so what do you think about when Cassian mentioned that I know who you are? And then he was talking to Luthen at the time. Alliance, Sep, Guerrilla, Partisan Front. Everything that he says, they're all useless. So what do you think about that?
I think that Cassian was trying to get Luthen to see just a few of his cards, and just trying to show like, I got a good hand. I've got a better hand than you. Sort of that kind of. It's not exactly a bluff, but it's more like puffing up his chest. But as we quickly see in the dialogue, Luthen's got a lot more than than meets the eye. Actually, So we sort of see Luthen be framed as this character with. He's got his bases covered. He knows what he's doing and just learns everything before going 3 steps ahead. He knows what he's about to do and what he's getting into. So very prepared, very thorough character.
Yeah, so just fun fact about what he said. The Rebel Alliance and the Separatists, the Alliance and the Separatists, or the Seps that he mentioned, was actually the Rebel Alliance that he was talking about. While the Partisan Front and the Guerrilla were referred to Saw Gerrera himself, the group that Saw Gerrera is leading. Anyways, my reference to this is the Partisans were first mentioned in Star Wars Rebels. All right, so yeah. So anyways,
I've yet to watch that.
Yes, you have to watch it, and we'll sure to schedule after season 1 probably of A New Hope. We'll try to schedule. Anyways, it was kind of weird to know that Luthen has this vast knowledge about Cassian. So what do you think about that? Like, it's kind of stocky, maybe. But then again, you can't be really. You have to background check people you talk to, especially if you're going to talk about the rebellion, right?
Right.
So what do you think about that?
There's a chance that Cassian has had associates or acquaintances or friends like Bix back in Ferrix, who has been transacting regularly or semi-regularly with Luthen. So it could be in terms of the referral and sharing his CV and I mean, there's also Marva and Clem. We don't know who they've been sharing information about Cassian on. So it's just establishing Luthen as a more authoritative figure and more thorough figure. Yeah.
So he mentioned that Cassian was a cook in Mimban when He was sent to Mimban as a soldier, I think, but he was a cook, particularly a cook. Mimban, fun fact, is a planet that was first mentioned in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and it was only mentioned in the Clone Wars animated series, but we actually see Mimban in Solo: A Star Wars Story. So it was supposed to be Mimban, not Jeddah in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. But then again, they changed it. The planet Mimban is covered in rainforests and swamps. More like the more like the Legend of Tatooine. You know what I'm saying? In the
Tatooine
season
before
one
it was sand. Yeah.
Right. Before it was sand. So, anyways, we move on to the mission. So Cassian agrees. All right, Cassian agrees to work for Luthen for a job, which I was surprised that he was tasked to steal the quarterly payroll for an entire Imperial sector.
Unbelievable. Quarter. Luthen was offering 200,000 credits, and we were like, "Whoa, damn, 200,000 credits!"
Damn, bro.
What's the job? We're stealing a hell of a lot more than 200,000 credits.
More like 1,000,000 credits or more. I don't know how much the Empire. I mean, I don't know. I'll just leave it to our imaginations on how much that is in terms of Imperial credits. But yeah. Anything more before we move on?
No, I think I think the mission is so the way I see it, it's so the way Luthen packaged it to Cassian, it's more like prepping for a heist. So we're going to a heist.
Yeah.
So this is the job, but you're gonna have to follow like my instructions from when I'm going to introduce you to the group. So it's more like there's like a prep for the prep, I think, because so we'll see in the next scene or the next destination where they get to when they get to Aldhani, the planet of Aldhani.
That's true. So one thing about what you mentioned, I think when you mentioned heist, I was thinking that Luthen is like the professor in Money Heist, if you've watched it, and he knew everything about the players or like the man he was the people that he was hiring for the job. But anyways,
okay. He was the one who was informed.
Yes, so we arrive at Aldhani finally, and Luthen asks Cassian what he would be called for the next 5 days, because this is like a week's job. Only 5 days until the heist. So without hesitation, he said Clem.
Right.
So he was paying homage, I guess, for his adoptive father figure. But yeah, so Rael mentions that Vel Sartha, the person in charge of the heist, the person in charge on the ground in the operation itself. So what do you think about Vel Sartha?
So first look at her. I didn't know it was a her yet. Coming down the slope of the while they were still in the ship. I didn't think because Luthen said that that's who we're working for. The way he or she was walking when she hadn't been introduced, it didn't look like somebody who was in charge. Like it wasn't like an imposing figure. And then when she comes up, she has a cloak. Her hair is a bit like I don't know, somebody who's been in the jungle for quite some time. But she seems like a tough character. The first time we see her, she didn't want to agree at first with Luthen, basically establishing the trust issues that everybody has on this planet, and eventually we'll see also in the squad.
Two things about Vel Sartha. First thing that I noticed about her, I thought she was a Padawan with the braid. with the braid, with the thicker braid in the on the right side of her face, and then I eventually saw like the left braid, and I thought maybe it's just fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second about the encounter is that when Luthen says that he's that's a good thing about him, referring to Cassian. He's disposable.
Yep.
That hit me hard. Like, is Luthen just like using Cassian? Well, I mean, I think that's established, but like to a point wherein he's like, all right, if he dies, he dies. He's disposable. You know, what do you think about that? Like that.
I
dialogue.
think yeah, I think well, my first instinct would be like, no, he's just saying that so it'll be easier for him to get Clem on in the group, in Vel Sartha's group. But then I was thinking about what he said also, that he didn't risk his life to go to Ferrix for the Star Path unit. He explicitly said that he came for Cassian. So I don't think he'll do all that effort to get somebody who was just gonna be just gonna die in the end, or and then it got me thinking again, the way he also he was shown in the episode. Maybe he can do that. Maybe he can just put a piece in the puzzle that's later gonna be burnt off, and that was it.
Probably, yeah. So I do agree.
My conclusion with Luthen's dialogue is, I don't know.
Pretty sus for me.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't know who to trust. Anyways, there's a great fan service moment when Luthen gives Cassian the Kawadi signet, aka Blue Kyber Crystal.
Kyber Crystal.
It's called the Sky Stone. It is important to Luthen, apparently, because he told Cassian, "You bring it back, no matter what," because it actually celebrates the stone itself is a celebration of the uprising from the Rakatan invaders. So if you don't know, guys, the Rakatans were first mentioned in the Knights of the Old Republic, wherein they were the first known civilization. This is Star Wars Legends, or the expanded universe. So the Rakatans were the first known civilization, even before the Republic. All right, and even before the Jedi, they were already the Rakatan Infinite Empire, is what they're called, and that's a pretty good, fan service moment for those hardcore fans who played Knights of the Republic. Kawadi is also mentioned in this scene, and it's a reference to a group of diplomat Valis of Covalt associated with, according to Star Wars The Last Jedi, incredible cross sections. I don't know about that, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Any comments on that?
No.
All right.
I like the scene, but yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. All right. So Vel and Cassian. All right. So they're already together. Cassian was pretty curious, like, who's Luthen? He was still asking Vel, who's Luthen? Because you would assume that Vel has been working for Luthen for a while now, and Cassian was still vetting Luthen because he still see the trust is not established between them yet.
Yeah.
And Vel is just, she's very professional, and she said, you should have asked him yourself. We're not gonna talk about Luthen while we're in camp. You do not talk about it. All right. And it was kind of good, as Vel knew he was like, for me, she was a natural born leader for this type of mission, because she knew how to play it out. Like, Cassian was already he was already part of the plan, and he was just kind of late. You get what I mean? When he arrived. And so what do you think about the journey back to the camp?
I think it was establishing that, again, you said Vel being a leader. Yeah, you're right. And you can see that since she already agreed to Luthen, there's no use for her to go back or to hesitate or whatever. She decided it. She agreed with it. She's all in. And she doesn't want to waste any effort in thinking about what if. It's about there's a plan. They need to be. It needs to be executed, and that was it.
That's true. One is so this is the scene where we see the AK-47s.
Okay, yeah,
finally, and one of the watch guys named Nemec, who was sleeping on the job, had to go with a harsh lesson from the other guy. I don't know what was his name.
Skeed. I think it was
Skeed. Yeah, I think it's Skeed. He said to Nemec, "You're lucky that our leader is Vel and not Mossy, Garvish, or Saw Gerrera, or your head will be put in a pike for a laugh." That's how hard the partisan front and the guerrillas were compared to the Seps and the Rebel Alliance. So
sounds a little
kind of
bit
see
like
that.
Sounds a little bit like the Empire, if you ask me. Like they're willing to kill their own, so it's kind of
they're radicals.
Kind of
yeah. Anyway, so we also see Lieutenant Gorn for the first time. So apparently, this is also an inside job. So Lieutenant Gorn is an Imperial, and he arrives at the scene. Wherein
everybody's
he
upset.
Asks, everybody's upset. Who the fuck is Cassian?
Who the hell is this
Clem?
dude?
Clem.
Clem.
I'm sorry.
Clem. What kind of a name is Clem anyway?
I don't trust you.
Understandably so. They mentioned
that's true.
They've been drilling and they've been doing it over and over again, and it's just challenging for them to introduce somebody this late in the game, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so but it's also nice to have a guy like Lieutenant Gorn being in the inside, because stealing the quarterly payroll of the entire Imperial sector is not an easy task, and an inside job only makes it better, at least a little bit. He also mentions that the garrison is preparing for the arrival of an Imperial engineer from Coruscant. That's why they have increased patrols. Okay. So that's gonna be hard. Apparently, there's a VIP arriving in the scene, so more security. Moving on, the plan of attack. What do you think? Lay it on me.
Seems pretty straightforward. It wasn't a very complicated plan to explain. They just basically, they laid it out pretty well, and then there was a bit of care taking one of the parts of the model out, which is kind of weird for that.
Nemec was like, "Don't touch my figures."
It's a little nitpicky for me. Like, come on, man, you're living in a freaking jungle.
Yeah, true. What I think is,
go ahead.
The box freighter. We haven't seen it. I guess we've seen it in the trailer, but the box freighter. Cassian was kind of adamant on putting their like, it's very risky, I would say, having a box freighter as their escape vehicle. As I say, carrying the money. So it's kind of
not
iffy.
Really,
and
he said not really flying, but okay.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna escape in that, he said. And what actually what a piece of junk. Anyways, so it's a Max 7 Rono freighter, according to research. The Aldanis gathered to see the Mak'ani Bride Dani, the Eye of Aldani. It was kind of cool to hear because it was rhyming. I don't know if the other dude was just like rapping.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I was like, okay, fine.
Aldani's gathered to see Mak'ani Bride Dani, the Eye of Aldani.
It's a little sing song.
A meteor shower.
It seems like what I got from it was like a Stonehenge type of deal, very mystical, like very Celtic, druidic.
True.
But
true.
They're banking on this natural phenomenon that happens every 3 years to basically cover their asses while they
Yeah,
come and go out. So yeah,
it's a sort of what do you call this? Distraction or something like that, so that they could easily escape.
right.
Anyways, we could also see last before we move on to the other part. Also, I could the thing that I could also see is that they only have a 40-man regiment guarding the garrison. That's how arrogant the Empire is. If I'm gonna name this episode, it's gonna be the arrogance of the Empire.
40 people guarding a quarter's worth of payroll. That's 40 people. That's like a classroom. That's a high school classroom.
Yeah, true. Anyways, this is one of my favorite parts. And finally, Disney had the guts to show us the capital of the galaxy, Coruscant.
We finally see Coruscant.
Yes.
And we
finally.
During the day. You pointed
As
this out
well.
to me. This is the first time we see Coruscant during the day. I was like, oh yeah, right. We always see Coruscant.
Yeah, from the outside at least, because we see Coruscant in the day within Coruscant. Like there's some scenes in the prequels specifically,
Right.
but we always see from the outside from episode 1 to 3. Coruscant is always nighttime, just to have that effect that there's many lights. It's whole New York. It's a planet of New York. Anyways, yeah, the planet that never sleeps. Yeah. So one thing I noticed about Coruscant is that it's not the Coruscant that we see in episodes in the prequels. So what do you think about that? Just a little nitpick, because I think I have something about that.
Yeah, I sort of like just suspend my disbelief or just suspend my nitpicking, if you will. Just telling my brain to just accept it the way it is. Maybe it's in a different portion of the planet from what we're used to seeing. So, it could be like a completely different district to what we see in the prequels as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's also a reason, it could be another part of Coruscant. But what I think is that it's Coruscant being more imperial, more oppressive. You don't see the Coruscant we saw in the prequels was majestic. You've got opera houses, you've got bars, you've got the Jedi Temple, the Senate District. There's a lot of buildings that's just majestic to look at, and now it's just so depressing. It's like I don't know. It's just that maybe it's just the Empire restructuring. It's the transition between the heart of the Republic into the center of the Empire. So
I think Coruscant's big enough to. I think Coruscant's big enough to still have those. I think. I mean, it's a whole planet, so I think there's a lot of room for that. Probably.
Anyways, we're gonna move on to a very important scene wherein we see, the Imperial Security Bureau, the office itself, and the meeting. So the meeting starts off. By the way, the ISB was first seen in A New Hope.
Right.
With Admiral Yularen being Colonel Yularen of the ISB. So the meeting starts where they mention Ryloth, the homeworld of the Twi'leks. It was first seen in the Clone Wars and later in Rebels and the Bad Batch as well. But yeah, it was mentioned there, and Scarif was also mentioned. And yeah, so basically Arvala 7, Arvala 6 was also mentioned. Arvala 6, where mining has returned, blah blah blah. It's just some reports from other officers, because officers apparently hold sectors that they oversee. And just a nitpick, or just a fun fact, Arvala 6 was mentioned, and Arvala 7 is where it was visited by Din Djarin in The Mandalorian. Just a nitpick for that. So we see Major Partagaz, played by Anton Lesser. He's the leader of the board meeting. He's a major. And we see, as I said in the trailer reaction, Dedra Meero, which is played by Denise Gaw. I hope I mentioned her name right. So I think she will be one of our antagonists, to be honest. And she's clearly ambitious.
It seems
For me.
like she's gonna become like a major hindrance to, I suspect, we'll later see Mon Mothma, but I suspect to be anything moving within Coruscant, she's gonna be the one who's like, what is that? What's going on? It's because she seems like
probably.
That's my Star Path unit. Give me my Star Path unit.
She's only been in the capital, in the main office of the ISB for a year, so she should watch her back. Everyone's arrogant as hell.
Super motivated.
Yeah, super motivated. So anyways, we also we also hear the description of what they do in the Imperial Security Bureau. I mentioned this in the trailer, wherein we might be able to understand what the ISB actually do. And in this scene, it actually answers my question: what does the ISB do? In the trailer reaction we did about Andor, and he said that we are. What did he say? We're medical.
Like we're healthcare workers or something.
Yeah, we're healthcare.
We're in healthcare, so we determine symptoms, we diagnose, and stop
disease
things before happening. Yeah, so that's what the.
So I think. They're more like the Department of Homeland Security in the U.S.
That's like a very similar, or at least close to it, I suppose. Yeah, so they're supposed to see things before they happen, or in anticipation of certain accumulating circumstances.
They're like CIA, NBI, FBI, and Homeland Security in one package for the Empire.
Yeah.
Anyways, we also see a scene where our the deputy inspector Syril Karn and Sergeant I forgot what's his name, the Scottish guy, gets fired along with their boss. This is what I'm talking about. If you've just followed your boss, the inspector, the Empire wouldn't step in, and they did, and now they're out of the job. They're all fired.
My favorite part. This is my favorite part.
No.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Raising your hand? Are you kidding me? Shut up.
And I like how the inspector said, but I've got nothing to do with this. But anyways, they're fired. And we also see Syril Karn go back to his neighborhood in Coruscant, assuming they're
to his mom.
Yeah, and he gets slapped. Anyways,
here's my theory for after that. After seeing that, because why would they show him moving back to his mom? Obviously, it's a bit of a strange relationship. Upon seeing him, his mom just slaps him and then hugs him. And then hugs him. So it's a bit of a weird relationship, maybe. But what I think is, bold prediction from episode 4. I think at one point, Syril's ambition, we could feel his ambition from the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I think he'll come across Dedra at some point, and then try to get back into the spin of things with Dedra's, combined with Dedra's ambition as well. So I suspect that there's gonna be a Dedra Syril combo coming in the future episode.
Yeah, I think so. You're kind of right, because ambitious people just go together to have a greater ambition. But yeah, so we go to Dedra's ambition, wherein he oversteps and orders the retrieval of the report in Ferrix about the missing NS9 Starpath unit. Give me it back! Are you denying me for the second time? Yes, I'm denying you for the second time.
Well, yeah, bitch.
And then
I'm denying you for the second.
You heard me. So we're just talking to Major Partagaz, I guess, and then they just tattletaled each other, and it was so weird because they're both arrogant. Clearly, Dedra's the one to watch here because he's kind of the new person in town, and we go to the encounter between Meero, Partagaz, and the other lieutenant. We're in Partagaz. Believes that they should stick within their sectors, and then Meero says that he's tracking a pattern. She's seeing a pattern of coordinated rebel activity in her sectors and in various sectors. To be honest, not only in her sector. And then Partagaz asks her, like, "Do you have proof?
What's your concrete? What's your concrete proof?" Yeah.
We only work with facts, vetted information that there's actually coordinated rebel activity. And you say it's based on gut feel as well. It's just not how it works, girl. It's just like a province girl who was like on top of her class, and then when she moved into the capital, oh my god, there's so many people who's better than me. And I think we all felt that in college as well. But yeah,
I think that well, she did mention that she was following her gut feeling, and there's more.
Well, she was right.
Yeah. I mean,
more perspective.
I think she was, she's trying to do quote unquote the right thing by their standards. I would have been more lenient with her, trusting her instincts. Maybe let it play out a little bit more, and then see if it goes wrong, or I don't know.
But then again, for Major Partagaz, you're a major, you've been there, you're assigned to that particular building for that particular team of lieutenants, and you see this new girl trying to you'd try. I mean, I guess you're that type of boss, but I guess Partagaz is not that type of boss, and he's just, there's no proof. So, get back to work on your sectors, and if there's any developments on that, then you tell me. You inform me.
Although,
I think she was shut down because
he did praise Meero towards the end. So I thought he was, just being straight and on board, like you do this, you're doing good with this, so I'll send more of that your way. It's very a very practical leader, like playing with your people's strengths.
That's true. But she was kind of acting away from the reason why she was there, so that's why you'd know why Major Partagaz was kind of like iffy about her proposition about coordinated rebel activity and everything. So anyways, we're gonna move on to
let's talk about her.
Mon Mothma. Oh yeah, let's go. All right. So
finally for the first time.
Yeah, but first off, Rael goes back to Coruscant, and he changes his looks, and it was kind of weird. The hangers, the coat hangers, and then she was like doing like acting poshy and everything.
Needed to get back in the character.
That persona, that persona, that character of being the collector in Marvel, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. But anyway, so apparently he was a wealthy, eccentric antiquities dealer. So that's his daytime job.
Yeah, that's a day job.
Yeah, daytime job, dealer. Nighttime job, rebel.
I like the scene. Mon Mothma coming in, and then Luthen's assistant distracting the driver while they converse.
It's a new driver, apparently.
New driver, and then she says that she's sort of being under attack by replacing her personnel, making sure having spies every other week. So it's a good establishment of what her situation is, being a senator in the Empire. So
true. But so she was at first she went there to buy her husband a gift. So this is the first time it was mentioned that Mon Mothma has a husband, and it was a custom for their home planet in Chandrila. So that's what Mon Mothma is representing, the planet of Chandrila. And then Luthen shows her the Utapawan monk cudgel, which is the weapon.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that you could actually see. You can see like a Darth Vader suit type of armor at the background, but it's more like it's more like a Star Killer type of armor, just to pay homage to Star Killer, who is a character from Star Wars The Force Unleashed. It's a very famous Star Wars game. We also see a headdress of a Wookiee warrior. All right, why I know? Because I have a figure of it, and you have a helmet of it. And you also see the Mandalorian breastplate. There's a lot of nitpicks. Yeah, the Beskar. And at around 30 minutes, you could see an Indiana Jones whip frozen in carbonite. That's one of the Easter eggs.
I didn't see this until you pointed it out, and we had to like zoom. What is that?
What is that?
Indiana Jones in carbonite.
Yeah, it's a fan service moment again, not only for Star Wars fans but also for Indiana Jones fans. So we go to Mon Mothma's residence. So you see how Mon Mothma is actually living in style in a very luxurious home. Ballin', yeah. But yeah, so I guess they're kind of rich. That's why she has the support to become senator for like multiple years. Let's not talk about corruption if there is, but apparently her husband's name's Perrin, and there's a dinner. Well, it's her husband's birthday. I guess she would have I guess I'm not gonna judge Mon Mothma. It's a very busy job to become a senator, and maybe she just overlooked her husband's dinner party with a lot of star-studded guest list.
I don't know about this. This doesn't seem like a party to me.
I've got a bad feeling about this, but yeah. So the governor from Hana is also coming. So Mon Mothma was asking, "Who's coming to this dinner?" And he mentioned Perrin, the husband, mentioned the governor from Hana is coming to the dinner. Hana is a star system located in the Inner Rim, just so you know. And Ars Dangor is also coming, so it's a throwback from Legends. Ars Dangor is the actual aide of Emperor Palpatine, so that close. And then Slimore is there from the Vizier's private chamber. Slimore is the white gal, the blonde white gal on Palpatine's left when he was still Chancellor and when he announced that the Republic is being reorganized. So he was an Umbaran. All right, so the Umbarans were actually first mentioned in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and Slimore appeared in the first appearance of this character is Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. So she was kind of mad. You know, these people were they're trying to destroy what I'm trying to build in the Senate, and you're just gonna try to invite them to dinner in our home.
Basically, political enemies. That's what they are. They're political enemies. I don't know. I've been to a politician's house before, and if it's that kind of like, if someone is against you, you don't invite them to they don't get invited to the house of the politician. That I know. Like, I don't know. So this one's like, okay, it's like you're married to somebody who is like friends with all the people you hate. Yeah. And he just invited them over. What is the deal, yo?
maybe he's like pro Empire, and Mon Mothma, being a senator, she can't really express like I'm an opposition because this is a dictatorship with an emperor,
Right.
so she can't really express like, oh, I'm not pro, I'm pro people, not pro Empire.
I don't
And maybe
know.
the husband is pro Empire, and I think they were really in love at some point. But then again, after this, the Empire being reorganized, being instated as the new galactic power, I think that set a rift in their relationship, which is too bad. But then again, Mon Mothma's better off fighting the rebels than fighting her own husband.
Are we
Um,
seeing this dinner take place in episode 5?
Probably, which is a
I think
good
so.
reference because there's a lot of people that we want to see, and I
It's
hope we
gonna
see.
be cringy. It's gonna be cringy.
Yeah, I know. And I hope we also see the Senate sessions. The Imperial Senate. I want to see the Imperial Senate and how it changed, the chamber itself from the last time we saw it. And just one more thing, Mon Mothma mentioned she is disgusted as they recently, these people that were invited recently cut the Gorman shipping lines. This was that's why she said, like, if you invite Gormanists or people from Gorman to this dinner, they would be disgusted because these people who her husband invited actually left the people of Gorman to starve. And Gorman, just so you know, was a site of a catastrophic attack by the Galactic Empire, and it was mentioned in the Star Wars Rebels. It's kind of good, all the dialogue it's very interconnected.
Very
To everything.
rooted somewhere in canon, and
Yeah.
we see things gonna. Overall, I think this episode is
Yeah.
very very much a setup episode, like episode 2 was set up to episode 3. It seems like it's gonna be a long game in terms of like how we'll see Dedra Meero develop, and we haven't. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen Syril Karn the last time, and yeah, just I'm excited to see what the heist is gonna look like and how it's gonna play out.
Yeah, true. For me, all right. So, just fun fact, if you didn't know, the Andor, according to the director, was supposed to be 5 seasons. Was supposed to be, but then again, they
What?
streamlined it. They streamlined it into 2 because they wanted to show 5 seasons, 5 years leading up to zero BBY, zero ABY, leading to
Okay.
Rogue One. So
5
every
years
year
Rogue
of
One.
Andor's life, they wanted to show. But I guess they had to make compromises and just make it into 2 seasons. But you'll never know because Disney's,
Yeah, I don't know. I think Diego Luna is gonna age too much in 5 years. We'll see.
yeah, probably. I mean, 5 seasons. It's not 5 years, man. Like there's rest in between cuts as well. But all right, that's just a fun fact. What I think about this episode, clearly, I agree with you. It is a setup episode, like episode 2. I like how they're trying to like set up the heist, wherein we're excited to see the heist itself. We're excited to see more of Coruscant. We're excited about what will happen to Syril Karn, who is this Dedra Meero gal who's in the ISB, who's Petrogas. How will he be a threat to the rebellion itself, and who's Luthen, and the journey of the
Right.
character being introduced, being established in the
question.
Star Wars universe. It's kind of good. So I'm really excited for episode 5. We only have a few days when this is posted. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. So please do subscribe to Trooper Archives, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, because good soldiers follow orders. I am Gabe.
And I'm Ace. This has been Trooper Archives, where we send in our quarterly reports on time.
That's right. Or I'll
Bye,
steal
guys.
it. Move along.